Well, here we are.
And he went from the shielded door, and aloft in the desert of wonder the light of the bran stalk he bore. And he set his face to the earth mound, and beheld the image when, and the dawn was growing about it. And, lo, the shape of a man, set forth to the eyeless desert on the tower top of the world, high over the cloud rock castle whence the windy bolts are hurled.
Yeah.
Now he comes to the mound and climbs it, and will see if the man be dead. Some king of the days forgotten laid there with crowned head, or the frame of a god. It may be, that in heaven hath changed his life, or some glorious heart beloved, God wrapped from the earthly strife. Now over the body he standeth, and seeth shapen fair, and clad from head to foot sole in pale grey glittering gear, in a hauberk wrought as straightly as though to the flesh it were grown, but a great helmet at the head is girt with a glittering crown. So thereby he stoweth and kneeleth, for he deems it were good indeed, if the breath that lieth by there and the speech to help it need. And as sweet as the summer wind from a garden under the sun, cometh forth on the topmost himful the breath of that sleeping one. Then he said he will look on the face, if it there be love or hate, or the bond for it lies constrained, or the thundering doom of fate. So he covered the helm from the head, and, lo, the brows snow white, and the smooth unfurrowed cheeks, and the white lips breathing light. And the face of a woman it is, and the fairest that ever was born, shone forth to the empty heavens and the desert rolled forlorn. But he looketh, and loveth her sore, and he longeth her spirit to move, and awaken her heart to the world, that she may behold him and love. And he toucheth her breast in her hands, and he loveth her passing sore. And he said, Awake, I am Sigurd, but she moveth never the more. Then he looked on his bare bright blade, and he said, Thou, what wilt thou do? For indeed as I came out of war brought thy voice of desire I knew. Bright burned the pale blue edges for the sunrise drew anear, and the rims of the shield were glittering, and the east was exceeding clear. So the eager edges he setteth to the dwarf wrought battle coat, where the hammered ring knit collar constraineth the woman's throat. But the sharp brass blade and rended, and before it failed the ring. And, lo, the gleam of the linen, and the light of golden things, then he dreaded the blue steel onward, and through the skirt, and out, till naught but the rippling linen is wrapping her about. Then he deems her breath comes quicker, and her breast begins to heave, so he turns about the war flame rends down either sleeve, till her arms are wide in her raiment, and the river of sun-bright hair flows free o'er bosom and shoulder and floods the desert there. Then a flush cometh over her visage and a sun upheaved with her breast, and her eyelids quivering open, and she walketh into rest. Wide-eyed on the dawning she gazeth too glad to change or smile, and but little moveth her body, nor speaketh she yet for a while. And yet kneels Sigurd moveless her wakening speech to heed, while soft the waves of the daylight o'er the starless heaven feed, and the gleaming rims of the shield burg yet bright and brighter grow, and the thin moon hangeth her horns dead white in the golden glow. Then she turned and gazed on Sigurd, and her eyes met the Volsung's eyes. And mighty and measureless now did the tide of his love arise, for their longings had met and mingled, and in the open heart she loved, as she spake unto nothing but in eagerness with the speech said, Move. Oh, what is the thing so mighty that my words sleep at form, and then the power of bondage, and the when woe over war? He said, the hand of Sigurd and the sword of Sigmund's son, and the heart that the Volsungs fashioned this deed for thee have done. But she said, Well then is Odin that laid me here alone. Long lasted the grief of the world, and menfolk's tangled woe. He dwelleth above, said Sigurd, that I on the earth abide, and I came from the glittering heath the waves of thy fire to ride. But there with the sun rose upward and lightened all the earth, and the light flashed up to the heavens from the rims of the glorious earth. But they twain arose together, and with both her palms outspread, and bathed in the light returning, she cried aloud and said, All hail, O day and thy sons, and thy kin of the colored things. Hail, following night, and thy daughter that leadeth thy laboring wings. Look down with unangry eyes on us today alive, and give us the hearts victorious, and the gain for which we strive. All hail, ye lords of God home, and ye queens of the house of gold. Hail, thou dear earth that bearest, and thou wealth of field in full. Give us, your noble children, the glory of wisdom and speech, and the hearts in the hands of healing, and the mouths and hands that teach. Then they turned and were knit together. And off and o'er again, they craved, and kissed rejoicing, and their hearts were full and free. Then Sigurd looketh upon her, and the words from his heart arise, Thou art the fairest of earth, and the wisest of the wise. Oh, who art thou that lovest? I am Sigurd, e'en as I told. I
Hey,
have slain the foe of the
Demoniac,
gods, and gotten the ancient
salut.
gold. And great were the gain of thy love, and the gift of mine earthly days, if we twain should never sunder as we went on the changing ways. Oh, who art thou that lovest, thou
Je
fairest
suis
of all things
Lavas Kitty.
born? And what needeth thy sleep and thy slumber in the wilderness forlorn?
J'aime
She said,
Louis
I am she that
Ferdinand
loveth.
Celine.
I was born of the earthly folk, but if old Alfather took me from the kings
Maitre
and the
François
wedding yoke, and he
Rabelais.
called me the victory wafter, and I went and came as he would, and I chose
Robespierre.
slain were host, and the days were glorious and good, till the thoughts of my heart
Rousseau.
overcame me, and the pride of my wisdom and speech, and I scorned the earth folk's framer and the Lord of the world I must teach. For the death doomed I caught from the sword, and the fate of my thigh slew, and I deemed that my deeds were goodly, and that long I should do and undo. But Alfather came against me, and the god in his wrath arose. And he cried, Thou hast thought in thy folly that the gods have friends and foes, that they wake, and the world winds onward, that they sleep, and the world slips back, that they laugh, and the world full waxeth, that they frown and fashion the wrath. Thou hast cast out the curse against me. It shall fall back on thine head. Go back to the sons of repentance, with the children of sorrow wed. For the gods are great unholpen, and their grief is seldom seen, and the wrong of the willing must be as soon as it had not been. Yet I thought, shall I wed in the world? Shall I gather grief on the earth? Then the fearless heart shall I wed, and bring the best of earth, and fashion such tales for the telling, that earth shall be holpen,
not gonna follow
at
you.
least, if the gods think scorn of its fairness,
Get my
as they
ass
sit
shut
at
off.
the changeless feast. Then somewhat smiled Alfather, and he spake, So let it be. The doom thereof abideth, the doom of me and thee. Yet long shall the time pass over ere thy waking day be born. Fare forth, and forget and be weary neath the stem of the sleepful thorn. So I came to the head of Inful and the ray shields in light, and the wall of the wildfire wavering around the Isle of Night. And as the sleep thorn pierced me, and the slumber on me fell, and a night of nameless sorrow that hath no tale to tell. Now I am she that loveth, and the day is now at hand, when I, who have ridden the sea realm and the regions of the land, and dwelt in the measureless mountains and the forge of stormy days, shall dwell in the house of my fathers and the land of the peoples, praise. And there shall hand me hand, and heart by heart shall beat, and the lying down shall be joyous, and the morn's uprising sweet. Lo now, I look on thy heart and behold that thou knowest well, that all of the days which are to never portion shall fulfill. So, be wise of man's hope, and the hope of thy heart refrain. As often the battles begin with banks steep with the rain, lest at last in its latter ending, when the sword hath hashed the horn, its limbs should be weary and fail, and his might be overworn. Oh, be wise, lest thy love constrain me, and my vision wax o'er clear, and thou ask of the thing that thou shouldst not, and the thing that thou art not near. Know thou, most mighty of men, that the Norns shall order all, and yet without thy helping shall know if there will betray. Be wise. 'Tis a marvel of words, and a mock for the fool and the blind, but I saw it read in the heavens, and its fashioning there did I find, and the night of the Norns and their slumber, and the tide when the world runs back, and the way of the sun is tangled, it is brought of the dastard's lack. But the day when the fair earth blossoms, and the sun is bright above, of the daring deeds is it fashioned and the eager hearts of love. Be wise, and cherish thy hope in the freshness of the days, and scatter its seed from thine hand in the field of the peoples. Praise. Then fair shall it fall in the furrow, and the earth shall sing, and the sons of men shall marvel at the blossom of the deed. But from the earth shall speed not, nay rather, the wind of the heaven shall walk away from my longing, and a gift to the gods hast thou given, and a tree for the roof and the wall in the house of a hope that shall be, though it seem or very sorrow, and the grief of thee and me. Strive not with the fools of manfolk, for the like thou shalt overcome. And what then is the gain of thy hunting when thou bearest the quarry home? Or else shall the fool overcome thee, and with deed thereof shall grow. Nay, strive with the wise man rather, and in increase thy wound is woe. Yet thereof a gain hast thou gotten, and the height of thine heart hast thou won, if thou mayst prevail against him, and his deeds are the deeds thou hast done. Yea, and if thou fall before him, in him shalt thou live again, and thy deed in his hand shall blossom, and his heart of thine heart shall be faith. When thou hearest the glow rejoicing, and he said, it is over and past, and the wrong was settled and right, and hate turns into love at the last, and we stroke for nothing at all, and the gods are fallen asleep. For so good as the world is going that the evil good shall leave, then loosen thy sword in the scabbard and settle the helm on thine head, for men betrayed are mighty, and great are the wrongfully dead. Wilt thou do the digging within? Thou hast already never been born. Wilt thou do the deed in the body? Then thy fame shall be outworn. Thou shalt do the deed in the body, and sit on thy throne on high, and look on today and tomorrow as those that never die. Love thou the gods, and withstand them, lest thy fame should fail in the end, and thou be but their thrall and their bondsman, who wert born for their very friend, for few things from the gods are hidden, and the hearts of men they know, and how that none rejoiceth to quail and crouch low. I have spoken the words, beloved, to thy matchless glory and worth. But thy heart to my heart hath been speaking, though my tongue hath said it forth. For I am she that loveth, and I know what thou wouldst teach, from the heart of thine unlearned wisdom, and I needs must speak thy speech. Then words were weary and silent, but out and over again, they prayed and kissed rejoicing, and their hearts were full and faint. Then spake the son of Sigmund, first, and most of all, hast thou seen the ways of manfolk and the regions of the earth? Then speak yet more of wisdom. For most to me it seems it is, that my soul to thy soul be shapen, and that I should know thy bliss. So she took his right hand meekly, nor any word would say, not even love or praising, his longing to delay. And they sat on the side of inflow, and their faint eyes looked in love, as she told of the hidden matters whereby the world is moved, and she told of the framing of all things, and the houses of the heaven. And she told of the star world's courses, and how the winds be driven. And she told of the Norns and their names, and the fate that abideth the earth. And she told of the ways of kingfolk and their anger and their mirth. And she spake of love of women, and told of the flame that burns, and the fall of mighty houses, and the frame that falters and turns, and the lurking blinded vengeance, and the wrong that amended wrong, and the hand that repented its stroke, and the grief that endureth for long, and how man shall bear in full that, and be master of all that is. And how man shall measure it all, the wrath, and the grief, and the bliss. I saw the body of wisdom, and of shifting dice was she wrought, and I stretched out my hands to hold her, and the mote of the dice they caught. And I prayed her to come for my teaching, and she came in the midnight dream, and I woke and might not remember, nor betwixt her tangled deem. She spake, and how might I hearken? I heard, and how might I know? I knew, and how might I fashion, or her hidden glory show? All things I have told thee of wisdom are but fleeting images of her hosts that abide in the heavens, and her light that All Father sees. Yet wise is the sower that sows, and wise is the reaper that reaps, and wise is the smith in his smitting, and wise is the warder that keeps, and wise shalt thou be to deliver, and I shall be wise to desire. And lo, the tale that is told, and the sword and the awakening fire. Lo now, I am she that loveth, and hark how grateful neighs, and Fafnir's bed is gleaming, and green go the downward ways, the road to the children of men, and the deeds that thou shalt do, in the joy of thy life day's morning, when thine hope is fashioned anew. Come now, O bane of the serpent, for now is the high noon come, and the sun hangeth over Himful and looks on the earth folks home. But the soul is so great within thee, and so glorious are thine eyes, and me so love constraineth, and mine heart that was called the wise, that we twain may see men's dwellings, and the house where we shall dwell, and the place of our life's beginning, where the tale shall be to tell. So they climb the Berg of Info, and hand in hand they fare, till all about and about them is naught but the sunlit air, and their close they cling together rejoicing in their mirth. For far away beneath them lie the kingdoms of the earth, and the course of menfolk's dwellings and the streams that water them, and the rich and plenteous acres, and the silver ocean's hem, and the woodland wastes and the mountains, and all that hold it all. The house and the ship and the island, the loom and the mine and the stall, the beds of pain and healing, the crafts that slay and save, the temple of God and the doom ring, the cradle and the grave. Then spake the victory wafter, O King of the earthly age, as a god thou beholdest the treasure and the joy of thine heritage, and where on the wings of his hope is the spirit of Sigurd born. Yet I bid thee hover while as a lark alow on the corn. Yet I bid thee look on the land twixt the wood and the silver sea, in the bight of the swirling river, and the house that cherished me. There dwelleth mine earthly sister and the king that she hath wed. There morn by morn aforetime I woke on the golden bed. There eve by eve I tarried mid the speech and the lays of kings. There noon by noon I wandered and plucked the blossoming things. The little land of Landale by the swirling river's side, where Brana once was I called in the days ere my father died. The little land of Landale twixt the woodland and the sea, where on thee mine eyes shall brighten and thine eyes shall beam on me. I shall see thee there, said Sigurd, when the day spring is begun, ere we win the world together in the season of the sun. I shall bide thee there, said Brynhild, till the fullness of the days, and the time for the glory appointed, and the springing tide of praise. From his hand then draweth Sigurd and Vari's ancient gold. There is naught but the sky above them as the ring together they hold, the shape an ancient token, that hath no change nor end, no change, and no beginning, no flaw for God to mend. Then Sigurd cries, O Brynhild, now hearken while I swear, that the sun shall die in the heavens and the day no more be fair, if I seek not love in Landale and the house that fostered thee, and the land where thou advocates twixt the woodland and the sea. And she cried, O Sigurd, Sigurd, now hearken while I swear, that the day shall die forever and the sun to likeness wear, ere I forget thee, Sigurd, as I lie twixt wood and sea, in the little land of Landale and the house that fostered me. Then he set the ring on her finger and once, if ne'er again, they kissed and clung together, and their hearts were full and fain. So the day grew old about them and the joy of their desire, and even the sunset came, and faint grew the sunset fire, and the shadowless death of the day was sweet in the golden tide. But the stars shone forth on the world, and the twilight changed and died. And sure if the first of man-folk had been born to that starry night, and had heard no tale of the sunrise, he had never longed for the light, but earth longed amidst her slumber, as 'neath the night she lay, and fresh and all abundant abode the deeds of day. Book 3. Brynhild. In this book is told of the deeds of Sigurd, and of his sojourn with the Nibelungs, and in the end of how he died. Of the dream of Gudrun the daughter of Juki. And now of the Nibelung people the tale beginneth to tell, how they deal with the wind and the weather. In the cloudy drift they dwell, when the wars are in the mountains, and they drive the desert, spoil, and their weapon hosts unwearied through the misty hollows toil. But again in the eager sunshine they scour across the plain, and spear by spear is quivering, and rain is laid by rain, and the dust is about and behind them, and the fear speeds on before, as they shake the flowery meadows with the fleeting flood of war. Yea, when they come from the battle, and the land lies down in peace, no less in gear of warriors they gather earth's increase, and helmed as the gods of battle they drive the team afield. These come to the council of elders with sword and spear and shield, and shout to their war dukes dooming of their uttermost desire. These never bow the helm crest before the high god's fire, but show their swords to Odin, and cry on Funny Thor, for the dancing of the ring-mail and the smitten shield of war. Yet though in mid-air, high tides of the depths of men they sing, and of swords in the battle broken, and the fall of many a king, yet they sing in wreaths with the flowers and they praise the gift, and the gain, of the warlord sped to Odin as he rent the battle at twain. And their days are young and glorious, and in hope exceeding great, with sword and harp and beaker on the skirts of the Norns they wait. Now the king of this folk is Juki, and he sits in the Nibelung hall, when the song of men goes roadward and the shields shine out from the wall. And his queen in the high seat sitteth, the woman overwise, Grinhald the kin of the god folk, the wife of the glittering eyes. and his sons on each end are sitting. There is Gunnar the great and fair, with the lovely face of a king twixt the night of his wavy hair, and there is the wise heart Hawkins, and his lips are close and thin, and grey and awful his iron, and on many sights they win, and there is Guthorm the youngest, of the fierce and wandering glance, and the heart that never resteth till the sword in the war wing dance, and there is Gudrun his daughter, and light she stands by the board, and fair are her arms in the hall as the beaker's flood is poured. She comes, and the earls keep silence. She smiles, and men rejoice. She speaks, and the hearts unsmitten throw into her queenly voice. So blossom the days of the Nibelungs, and great is their hopes' increase. Twixt the merry days of battle and the tide of their guarded peace. There is many an of joyance, and many an eve's delight, and many a deed for the doing twixt the morning and the night. Now the times on a morning of summer that Juki's daughter rose, alone went the fair armed Gudrun to her flowery garden close. And she went by the bower of women, and her damsels saw her dance, and her nurse went down to meet her as she came by the rose-hung fence, and she saw that her eyes were heavy as she trod with doubtful feet, betwixt the rose and the lily, nor blessed the blossom sweet, and she spake, What ails thee, daughter? As one asleep to tread o'er the grass of a merry summer and the daisies white and red. And I have no heart for the harp play, or the needle's mastery, where the gold and the silk are framing the swans of the gods on the sea, and helms and shields of warriors, and kings on the Hazel Isle. Why hast thou no more joints on the damsel's glee to smile?
See if they stay.
Why madest thou not to the wildwood with horse and hawk and hound? Why madest thou not to the headland and the eagle-haunted ground, to meet thy noble brethren as they ride from the mountain road? Hast thou deemed the hall of the Nibelungs a churlish poor abode? Wouldst thou wend away from thy kindred, and scorn thy fosterers' praise? Or is this the beginning of love and the first of the troublous days? Then spake the fair armed Gudrun, Nay, not I know of scorn, for the noble kin of the Nibelungs, or the house where I was born. No pain of love hath smit me, and no evil days begin, and I shall be fain tomorrow of the deeds that the maidens win. But if I wend this summer in dull unlovely seeming, it comes of the night, O mother, and the tide of last night's dreaming. Then spake the ancient woman, Thy dream to me shalt thou show. Such oft foretell doth the weather, and the airs whence the wind shall blow. Blood red was waxen Gudrun, and she said, But little it is, meseems I sat by the door of the hall of the Nibelung's bliss, and from out of the north came a falcon, and a marvellous bird it was. For his feathers were all of gold, and his eyes as the sunlit glass, and hither he flew about the kingdoms of kings, and the fear of men went with him, and the war blessed under his wings. But I feared him never a deal, nay, hope came into my heart, and meseemed in his warbold ways I also had a part. And my eyes still followed his wings as hither and thither he swept, o'er the doors and the dwellings of king folk. Till the heart within me leapt, for over the hall of the Nibelungs he hung a little space, then stooped to my very knees, and cried out kind in my face, and fain and full was my heart, and I took him to my breast, and fair methought was the world and a home of infinite rest. Her speech dropped dead as she spake, and her eyes from the nurse she turned, but now and again thereafter the flush in her fair cheek burned, and her eyes were dreamy and grey, as of one who looketh afar. But the nurse laughed out and answered, Such the dreams of maidens are. And if thou hast told me all 'tis a goodly dream, forsooth, for what should I call this falcon save a glorious kingly youth, who shall fly full wide o'er the world in fame and victory, till he hangs o'er the Nibelung dwelling and stoops to thy very knee. And fain and full shall thy heart be, when his cheek shall cherish thy breast, and fair things shalt thou deem of the world as a place of infinite rest. But cold grew the maiden's visage, God wot thou hast plenteous lore in the reading of dreams, my mother. But thou lovest thy fosterling sore, and the good and the evil elect shall turn in thy heart to good. Wise too is my mother Grimhild, but I fear her guileful mood, lest she love me overmuch, and fashion all dreams to ill. Now who is the wise of women, who herein hath measureless skill? For her forthright would I find, how far soever I fare, lest I wend like a fool in the world, and rejoice with my feet in the snare. Quoth the nurse, Though the dream be goodly and its reading easy and light, it is not but a little matter if thy golden wain be dyed, and thou ride to the land of Landale, the little land and green, and come to the hall of Brynhild, the maid and the shielded queen, the queen and the wise of women, who sees all haps to come, and 'twill be but light to bid her to seek thy dream tale home. Though surely shall she read it in such wise as I. And so shall the day be merry and the summer cloud go by. Thou hast spoken well, said Gudrun, let us tarry now know it. For wise in the world is the woman, and knoweth the ways of it. So they make the yoked beasts ready, and dight the wings for the way, and the maidens gather together, and their bodies they array, and gird the laps of the linen, and do on the dark blue gear, and bind with the leaves of summer the wandering of their hair. Then they drive by dale and acre, o'er heath and holt they wend, till they come to the land of the waters, and the lea by the woodland's end. And there is the burg of Brynhild, the white-walled house and long, and the Gorth her fathers fashioned before the days of wrong. So fare their feet on the earth by the threshold of the queen, and Brynhild's damsels abide them, for their goings had been seen. And the mint and the blossomed woodruff they strew before their feet, and their arms of welcome take them, and they kiss them soft and sweet, and they go forth into the feast hall, the many-pillared house. Most goodly were its hangings and its webs were glorious, with tales of ancient fathers, and the swans of the gods on the sea, and web-boned kings on the island, and great deeds yet to be. And the host of Odin's choosers, and the boughs of the faithful oak, and the gush of Mimir's fountain, and the mid-world serpent's yoke. So therein the maidens enter, but Gudrun all out goes, as over the leaves of the garden shines the many-folded rose, amidst and alone she standeth. In the hall her arms shine white, and her hair falls down behind her like a cloak of the sweet-breathed night, as she casts her cloak to the earth, and the wind of the flowery tide runs over her rippling raiment and stirs the gold at her side. But she stands and may scarce move forward, and a red flush lighted her face, as her eyes seek out Queen Brynhild in the height of the golden place. But lo, as a swan on the sea spreads out her wings to arise, from the face of the darksome ocean when the isle before her lies, so Brynhild arose from her throne and the fashioned cloths of blue, when she saw the maid of the Nibelungs, and the face of Gudrun knew. And she gathers the laps of the linen, and they meet in the hall, they twain, and she taketh her hands in her hands and kisseth her sweet and fain, and she said, Hail, sister and queen! For we deem thy coming kind, though forsooth the hall of Brynhild is no weary way to find, how fair the kin of the Nibelungs. Is thy mother happy in Hale, and the Ancient of Days, thy father, the king of all of Vale? It is well with my house, said Gudrun, and my brethren's days are fair, and my mother's morns are joyous, and her eves have done with care. And my father's heart is happy, and the Nibelung glory grows, and the land in peace is lying 'neath the lily and the rose, but love and the mirth of summer hath moved my heart to come, to look on thy measureless beauty, and seek thy glory home. Oh, be thou welcome, said Brynhild. It is good when queen folk meet. Come now, O goodly sister, and sit in my golden seat. There are lovely hours before us, and the half of the summer day. And what is the night of summer that eve should drive thee away? So they sat, they twain, in the high seat. And the maidens bore them wine, and they handled dwarf raw treasures with their fingers fair and fine, and lovely they were together, and they marvelled each at each. Yet oft was Gudrun silent, and she faltered in her speech, as they matched great kings and their war deeds, and told of times that were, and their fathers' doings, and the deaths of warlords dear. And at last the twain sat silent, and spake no word at all, and the western sky waxed ruddy, for the sun drew near its fall. And the speech of the murmuring maidens, and the voice of the toil of folk, died out in the hall of Brynhild as the garden song awoke. Then Brynhild took up the word, and her voice was soft as she said, We have told of the best of king folk, the living and the dead. But hast thou heard, my sister, how the world grows fair with the word of a king from the mountains coming, a great and marvelous lord, who hath slain the foe of the gods, and the king that was wise from of old, who hath slain the great gold wallower, and gotten the ancient gold. And the hand of victory hath he, and the overcoming speech, and the heart and the eyes triumphant, and the lips that win and teach. Then met the eyes of the women, and Brynhild's were died out, and bright flushed Gudrun's visage, and her lips were moved with doubt. But again spake Brynhild the wise, He is come of a marvelous kin, and of men that never faltered, and goodly days shall he win. Yea, now to this land is he coming, and great shall be his fame. He is born of the Volsung king folk, and Sigurd is his name. Then all the heart laughed at her, but the speech of her lips died out, and red and pale waxed Gudrun, and her lips were moved with doubt, till she spake as a queen of the earth. Sister, the day grows late, and meseemeth the watch of the earl folk looks out from the Nibelung gate, for the gleam of our golden wains and the dust cloud thin and soft. But not shall they now behold them till the moonland blazeth aloft. Farewell, and have thanks for thy welcome and thy glory that I have seen. And I bid thee come to the Nibelungs while the summer ways are green, that we thy heart may gladden as thou gladdenedst ours today. And she rose and kissed her sweetly as one that wendeth away. But Brunhild looked upon her and said, Wilt thou depart, and leave the word unspoken that lieth on thine heart? Then Gudrun faltered and spake, Yea, hither I came in sooth, with a dream for thine eyes of wisdom, and a prayer for thine heart, of ruth. But young in the world am I waxen, and the scorn of folk I fear, when I speak to the ears of the wise, and a maiden's dream they hear. I shall mock thee not, said Brunhild. Yet who shall say indeed, but my heart shall fear thee rather, nor help thee in thy need. Then spake the daughter of Juki, Lo, this was the dream I dreamed, for without by the door of the Nibelungs I sat in the morn, as meseemed. Then I saw a falcon aloft, and a glorious bird he was, and his feathers glowed as the gold, and his eyes as a sunlit glass. Hither and thither he flew about the kingdoms of kings, and fear was born before him, and death went under his wings. Yet I feared him not, but loved him, and mine eyes must follow his ways, and the joy came into my heart, and hope of the happy days. Then over the hall of the Nibelungs he hung a little space, and stooped to my very knees, and cried out kind in my face. And fain and full was my heart, and I took him to my breast, and I cherished him soft and warm, for I deemed I had gotten the best. So speaketh the maid of the Nibelungs, and speech her lips doth fail, and she gazeth on Brunhild's visage, and seeth her waxen pale, as she saith, "'Tis a dream full goodly, and naught hast thou to fear. Some glory of king shall love thee, and thy heart shall hold him dear." Again spake the daughter of Juki, "Not yet hast thou hearkened all, for meseemed my breast was reddened, as oft by the purple and pall, but my heart was heavy within it, and I laid my hand thereon, and the purple of blood enwrapped me, and the falcon I loved was gone." Yet pale was the visage of Brunhild, and she said, "Is it then so strange, that the wedding lords of the Nibelungs that lives in the battle, should change? Thou shalt wed a king and be merry, and then shall come the sword, and the edges of hate shall be whetted and shall slay thy love and thy lord, and dead on thy breast shall he fall, and where then is the measureless moan? From the first to the last shalt thou have him, and scarce shall he die alone. Rejoice, O daughter of Juki! There is worse in the world than this. He shall die, and thou shalt remember the days of his glory and bliss." I woke, and I wept, said Gudrun, for the dear thing I had loved. Then I slept, and again as aforetime were the gates of the dream hall moved, and I went in the land of shadows. And lo, I was crowned as a queen, and I sat in the summer season amidst my garden green. And there came a hart from the forest, and in noble wise he went, and bold he was to look on, and of fashion excellent, before all beasts of the wild wood. And there gleamed that glorious sun, and upreared his shining antlers against the very sun. So he came unto me, and I loved him, and his head lay kind on my knees, and fair methought the summer, and a time of utter peace. Then darkened all the heavens, and dreary grew the tide, and they dreamed that a queen I knew not was sitting by my side, and from out of the din and the darkness, a hand and an arm there came, and a golden sleeve was upon it, and red rings of the queen folk's fame. And the hand was the hand of a woman, and there came a sword and a thrust, and the blood of the lovely was dear like blood about the dust. Then I cried aloud in my sorrow, and lo, in the wood I was, and all around and without me did the kin of the wild wolves pass. And I called them friends and kindred, and upreared a battle brand, and cried out in a tongue that I knew not, and red and wet was my hand. Lo now, the dream I have told thee, and not have I held it back. O Brunhild, what wilt thou tell me of treason and murder and wrath? Long Brunhild studied, pondered, and weary wise was her face, and she gazed as one who sleepeth, till that she spake in his space. One dream in twain hast thou told, and I see what I saw in now, but beyond is not but the darkness and the measure of midnight. Lo, thy dream is all already. I may tell thee nothing more. Thou shalt live and love and lose, and mingle in murder and war. Is it strange, O child of the Niflheim, that thy glory and thy pain must be blent with the battle's darkness and the unseen herring vein? We, of all folk on the earth, pray God for the changeless peace, and not for the battle triumphant and the fruit of fame's increase. For the rest, thou mayst well be lone in thy welfare or thy wealth, but hearts with thy heart shall be tangled, but the queen in love, and thou shalt know. When we twain are wise together, thou shalt know of the sword and the wood, thou shalt know of the wild bull howling in thy right hand leg, with blood, when the day of the smith is ended, and the city's fire dies out, and the work of the master of masters through the feast hall goes about. They stand apart by the high seat, and each on each they gaze, as though they forget the summer, and the tide of the passing days, and of both the deeds unborn and the king's deaths yet to be, as the merchant biddeth dintless the gold in his ships on the sea. At last spake the wise heart child, O glorious Niflheim child. The dreams and the word we have hearkened, and the dreams and the word have been wild. Thou hast thy life and thy summer, and the love is drawing anear. Take these to thine heart to cherish, and deem them good and dear, lest the Norns should mock our knowledge and cast our fame aside, and our doom be empty, glorious, hopeless that have died. Farewell, O Niflheim maiden, for day on day shall come, whilst thou shalt live rejoice and make the blossom of thine home. Now have thou thanks for thy greeting and thy glory that I have seen. And come thou in the Londale while the summer ways are green. So the hall dusk deepens upon them till the candles come a row, and they drink the wine of departing and drink themselves to go. And they light the dark blue element and climb the ruinous rock, while the full moon hangs in the heaven and the summer wind blows soft. Then the yoked beasts strained at the collar, and the dust in the moon arose, and they brushed the sod of the acre and the blooming dewy close. Till at last, when the moon was sinking and the night was waxen late, the warders of the Earl folk looked forth from the Niflheim gate, and saw the gold pail gleaming, and heard the wain wheels crush the very dust of the summer amidst the midnight hush. So came the daughter of Juki from the hall of Brynhild the queen, when the days of the Niflheims blossomed and their hope was springing green. How the birds of Londale met sacred the ball sung in the woodland. Fair was the land of Londale, and great were the men thereof, and Hymer the king of the people was held in marvellous love. And his wife was the sister of Brynhild, and the queen of kings was she. And his sons were noble striplings, and his daughters sweet to see. And all these lived on in joyance through the good days and the ill, nor would shun the war's awakens. But now that the war was still, they looked to the weather's fleeces and what the ewes would yield, and let their bulls from the straw stall, and drave their kine afield. And they dealt with mere and river in all waters of their land, and cast the glittering angle, and drew the net to the strand, and searched the rattling shallows, and many rock walls well, where the silver-scaled seafarers, and the crook-lipped trout, dwell. But most when their hearts were merry 'twas the joy of Paul and Queen, to ride in the deeps of the oak wood, and the thorny thicket green. Forth go their hearts before them to the blast of the strenuous horn, where the level sun comes dancing down the oaks in the early morn. There they strain and strive for the quarry, when the wind hath fallen, dead, in the odorous dusk of the pine wood, and the moon is high overhead, there oft with horns triumphant the rough bottle and tree turns, whenever the bison is lean up. The last of sunset burns. Or by night and the cloud all eager with shaft on string they fare, when the wind from the elk mead setteth, or the wood boar's tangle blare, for the wood is their barn and their storehouse, and their bower and feasting hill, and many in one of their warriors in the woodland war shall fall. So now in the sweet spring season, on a morn of the sunny tide, abroad are the Londale people to the warrior's house to ride, and they went towards the sun's rising, and over the boughs he comes, and the merry wind is within, and stirs the woodland homes. But their horns to his face cast clamor, and their hoofs shake down the glades, and the hearts of their hounds are eager, and off they run and blaze. Till at last in the noon they tarry in the daisy woodlawn green, and good and gay as the Rhineland, and their spears are sharpened, sheathed, and they crown themselves with the oak leaves, and sit, both most and least, and they're on the forest venison in the ancient plantations. Then they waddle the twigs of the thicket to bear their spoil away, and the toughness of the beech boughs with the wood vine overlay, with the voice of the merry lever the hall of the oak wood rings, for fair they are and joyous as the first god-fashioned kings. Now they gather their steeds together, that ere the moon is born, the candles of King Hymir may shine on harp and horn, but if they stand by the stirrup and hand on rein is laid, all eyes are turned to beholding the eastward lying glade, for thereby comes something glorious, as though an earthly sun were lit by the orb departing, lest the day should be wholly done. Lo now, as they stand astonished, a wonder they behold, for a warrior cometh riding, and his gear is all of gold. And grey is his steed and mighty beneath that lord of war, and a treasure of gold he beareth, and the gems of the ocean's floor. Now they deem the war steed wondrous and the treasure strange they deem, but so exceeding glorious doth the harnessed rider seem, that men's hearts are all exalted as he draweth nigh and nigher, and there are they abiding in fear and great desire, for they look on the might of his limbs, and his waving locks they see, and his clad eyes clear as the heavens, and the wreath of the summer tree. That great the dread of his war helm, and they wonder at his sword, and the tinkling rings of his hauberk, and the rings of the ancient hoard, and they say, are the gods on the earth? Did the world change yesternight? Or the sons of Odin coming, and the days of Baldur the bride? But forth stood Hymir the ancient, and the Gotham man was he chief of all who have handled the harp. And he stood betwixt blossom and leaf, and thrust his spear in the earth and cast abroad his hands, Hail, thou that ridest hither from the north and the desert lands! Now thy face is turned to our Haldoring divine must be thy way. And, unless the time so presseth that thou ridest night and day, it were good that thou lie in my house, and hearken the clink of the horn, whether peace in thy hand thou bear us, or war on thy side will be born. Whether wealth thou seek, or friends, or kin, or maiden lost, or hast part for the building of cities nor will told thee about for the cost. If fain thou wilt as a monk king's roll, to the land of the king guard, thou come, or wouldst thou down to the sea flood, thou must pass by the guard of our home. Yea, art thou a god from the heavens, who wilt deem me little of worth, and art come for the wrath of my realm and wilt cast King Hymir forth, thou knowest thou clearly nothing, and no worse shall thy welcome be, or art thou a wolf of heart, none here shall meddle with thee. Yet lo, as I look on thine iron, and behold thy hope and thy mirth, meseems thou art better than these, some son of the kings of the earth. Then spake the treasurer Strider, for his foresee now hath he reigned by the king and the earls of the people where the bells of the thicket ring. Yea, I am the son of the kings. But my kin have passed away, and once were they called the Volsungs, and the sons of God were they. I am young, but have learned no wisdom. I am lone, but deeds have I done. I have slain the foe of the gods, and that of the worm have I won. But meseems that the earth is lovely, and that each day springeth anew, and beareth the blossom of hope, and the fruit of deeds to do. And herein thou sayest the sooth, that I seek a fame of kings, and with them would I do and undo and be hard of their warfarings, and for this o'er the glittering heath of the kingdoms of earth am I come, and over the head of Ingful, and I seek the earl folk's home, that is called the Lee of Londale twixt the wood and the water side. For men call it the gate of the wolf where the kings of men abide, for the least of a god folk am I, where the wolf of the kings accursed, but Sigurd the son of Sigmund in the land of the Helper nursed, and I thank thee, Lord, for thy bidding, and tonight will I bide in thine hall, and fare on the morrow to Londale, and the deeds thenceforward to fall. Then Sigurd left from grateful, and men were more frightened there, as the sound of his sweet mouth wisdom, and his body shapen fair. But Hymir laughed and answered, Now soon shall the deeds befall, and tonight shalt thou ride to Londale, and tonight shalt thou bide in my hall. For I am the ancient Hymir, and my cunning is of the heart, though erst have I dealt in the sword play while the edge of war was sharp. And Sigurd joyed to behold him, for a godlike king he was, and amid the men of Londale is the son of Sigmund and their hearts are high uplifted, for across the air there came a breath of his tale hath spoken and the tidings of his fame. And their eyes are all unsatiate of gazing on his face, for his oak having never looked on for goodliness and grace. So they bear him the wine of welcome, and then to the saddle they lead, and get them forth from the wood ways to the new land of the sheep, and the full fed Londale meadows. clear over Sigurd's seas. The long white walls of Hymir amidst the blossom trees, then the slim moon rises in heaven, and the stars in the treetops shine. But the golden roof of Hymir looks down on the torch-lit wine, and the song of men goes round forth in praise of Sigmund's son, and the joy to the Landale people is his glory new begun. How Sigurd met Ragnhald in Landale. So there abided Sigurd with the Landale forest lords, in mighty honor holden, and in love beyond all words, and thence abroad for the people there goes the rumor in breath, of the great gold wallower slain, and the tale of the glittering heath, and a word of the ancient treasure in Grateful's gleaming out. And the hearts of men grew eager, and the kind deeds abode. But warily dealeth Sigurd, and he went in the woodland fray, as one whose heart is ready and abides a better day. In the woodland fray he fareth, and oft on a day doth ride, where the mighty forest wild bulls and the lonely wolves abide. For then no other warfare do the lords of Landale know, and the axe age and the sword age seemed dead a while ago, and the age of the cleaving of shields, and the brother by brother, slain, and the bitter days of the whoredom, and the heart and lust of gain. But man to man may hearken, and he that soweth reaps, and hushed is the heart of Fenrir in the wolf den of the deeps. Now is it the summer season, and Sigurd readeth the land, and his hound runs light before him, and his hawk sits light on his hand, and all alone on a morning he rides the flowery sword, betwixt the woodland dwellings and the house of Landale's lord. And he hearkens Grateful's tone as he wendeth down the lea, and his heart for love is craving, and the deeds he doomed shall be. And he hears the rat's sheep tinkling as he rides the daisies down, and he thinks of his love laid safely in the arms of his renown. But lo, as he rides the meadows, before him now he sees a builded burg rising amid the leafy trees, and a white-walled house on its topmost with a golden roof reached done, and thereon a clustering dove-kind in the brightness of the sun. So Sigurd stayed to behold it, for the heart within him laughed. But in then, as the arrows heated from the mighty archer's draught, forth fled the falcon unloaded from the hand of Sigurd the king, and up, and over the tree boughs he shot with steady wing. Then the Volsung followed his flight, for he looked to see him fall, on the fluttering folk of the doves, and he cried a backward fall, full up and over again. But the falcon heeded it not, nor turned to his finger's perch, nor the folk of the pigeons sought, but flew up to a high-built tower, and from the window of space, flying out like the fowl of Odin when the first of the morning day face, and then passed through the open casement as an urn to his eyrie goes. Much more thou the son of Sigmund, and rode to the fruitful close, for he said, Here a great one dwelleth, though none have told me thereof, and he shall give me my falcon, and his fellowship and love. So he came to the gate of the garth, and forth to the hall door rode, and leapt adown from Grateful, and entered that fair abode. For full lovely was it fashioned, and great was the pillared hall, and fair in its hangings were woven the deeds that kings befall, and the merry song through it and gleamed in golden horns. But a field or a fell are its carls, and none labor there that morn, and void it is of the maidens, and they weave in the bower aloft, or they go in the outer gardens twixt the rose and the lily soft. So sets Sigurd the Volsung, and a door in the corner he spies, with knots of gold clear carven, and the graver's mastery. So he lifts the latch and it opens, and he comes to a marble stair, and unlocked by the same he goes through a tower wrought full fair. And he comes to a door at its topmost, and lo, a chamber of kings, and his falcon there by the window with all unruffled wings. But a woman sits on the high seat with gold about her head, and ruddy rings on her arms, and the grace of her girdle spread. And sunlit is her gold linen, and the green leaves lie at her feet, and e'en as a swan on the billow where the first and the outsea meet. On the dark blue cloth she sitteth, so fair and softly made, are her limbs by the linen hidden, and so white is she arrayed. But a web of gold is before her, and therein by her shuttle wrought, the early days of the Volsungs and the war by the sea's brim fought, and the crowned queen over Sigmund, and the helper's pillared hall, and the golden babe uplifted to the eyes of duke and thrall. And there was the slender stripling by the knees of the dwarffolk's lord, and the gift of the ancient gripper, and the forging of the sword. And there were the coils of Fafnir, and the hooded thread of death, and the king by the cooking fire, and the fowl of the glittering heat. And there was the hapless kingsmith and the golden halls of the worm, and the laden Grateful carrying through the land of perished storm. And there was the head of Ingfell, and the flames to the sky floor, driven. and there was the glittering shield bird, and the fallow bondage ribbon. And there was the awakening woman in the golden balsam hand, and they flew over the earthly kingdoms in the lonely evening sun, and there were fells and forests, and towns and tossing seas, and the rat and the golden Sigurd forever blind with ease, in the midst of the battle triumphant, in the midst of the war kings, fall, in the midst of the peaceful conquer, in the midst of the praising, hall. There Sigurd stood in marvels, for he saw his deeds that have been, and his deeds of the days that should be, fair wrought in the golden sheen, and he looked in the face of the woman, in Brunhild's eyes he knew, but still in the door he tarried, and so glad and fair he grew, that the gods laughed out into heavens to see the balsam seed. And the breeze blew in from the center and over Brunhild's seed, till his heart so swelled with the sweetness that the fair words stayed in his mouth. And a marvel beloved he seemeth, as a ship new come from the south, and still she longed and beheld him, nor foot nor hand she moved, as she marvelled at her gladness, and her love so well beloved. But at last through the sounds of summer the voice of Sigurd came, and it seemed as a silver trumpet from the house of the faithful thing. And he spake, Hail, Lady and Queen! Hail, fairest of all the earth! Is it well with the half of thy life days, and thy kin and the house of thy birth? She said, My kin is joyous, and my house is blooming fair, and dead, both root and branches, is the tree of their travail and care. He spake, I have longed, I have wondered if thy heart were well at ease, if the hope of thy days had blossomed and borne thee fair increase. Oh, have thou thanks, said Brunhild, for thy heart that speaketh kind. Yea, the hope of my days is accomplished, and no more there is to find. And again she spake in his face, the road hath been weary and long, but long hast thou ridden it, Sigurd, and the sons of God are strong. He said, I have sought, O Brunhild, and found the heart of thy home. And no man hath asked or hoped, and all unbidden I come. She said, O welcome hither. For the heart of the king I knew, and thy hope that overcometh, and thy will that naught shall undo. Unbidden I came, he answered, It is but a little space, since I heard thy voice on the mountain, and thy kind lips cherished my face. She rose from the dark blue ottoman, and trembling there she stood, and no word her lips had gotten that her heart might deem it good, and his heart went forth to meet her, yet not he moved for a while, until the godkin's laughter brake blooming from a smile, and he cried, It is good, O Brunhild, that we draw exceeding near, lest so the mock king's children at the doom of day they fear. Then forth she stepped from the high seat, and forth from the threshold he came, till both their bodies mingling seemed one glory in the same, and far o'er all fulfillment did the souls within them long, as at breast and at lips of the faithful the earthly love strain, strong. And fresh from the deeps of the summer the breeze across them blew, but not of the earth desire, for the lapse of time they knew. Then apart, but exceeding nigh, for a little while they stand, till Brunhild toucheth her lord, and taketh his hand in her hand, and she leadeth him through the chamber, and sitteth down in her seat. And him she setteth beside her, and she said, It is right meet, that thou sit in this throne of my fathers, since thy gift today I have. Thou hast given it altogether, nor aught from me would save. And thou knowest the tale of women, how oft it haps on a day, that if such gifts men repent them, and their lives are cast away. He said, I have cast it away as the tiller casteth the seed, that the summer may gather the springtime, and the autumn winters, new. For what were the fruit of our lives if the part they needs must pass, and men shall say hereafter, woe worth the hope that was. She said, That day shall dawn the best of all earthly days, when we sit, we twain, in the high seat in the hall of the peoples. Pray, or else, what fruit of our life days, what fruit of our death shall be? What fruit, save men's remembrance of the grief of the indeed? He says, It is sharper to bear than the bitter sword in the breast, a woe, to think of it now in the days of our gleaming of rest. Said Brunhild, I bid thee remember the word that I have sworn, how the sun shall turn to likeness, and the last day be outworn, ere I forget thee, Sigurd, and the kindness of thy face. And they kissed, and the day grew later, and noon failed the golden place. But Sigurd said, O Brunhild, remember how I swore, that the sun should die in the heavens and day come back no more, ere I forget thy wisdom and thy heart of inmost love. Lo now, shall I unsay it, though the gods be great above, though my life should last forever, though I die tomorrow morn, though I win the realm of the world, though I sing to the thrall folks scorn? She said, Thou shalt never unsay it, and thy heart is mine indeed. Thou shalt bear my love in thy bosom as thou helpest the earth folks' need. Thou shalt wake to a dawning by dawning. Thou shalt sleep and it shall not be strange. There is none shall pass between us till our earthly lives shall change. Ah, my love shall fare as a banner in the hand of thy renown. In the arms of thy fame accomplished shall it lie when we lay us adown. O deathless fame of Sigurd! O glory of my lord! O birth of the happy dwelling how to the measureless reward! So they sat at the sacred dinner, and they looked on days to come, and the fair tales flew onward, and the glories of their home. And they saw their crowned children and the kindred of the king, and deeds in the world arising and the day's better things. All the earthly exaltation, till their palm of life should be past, and soft on the bosom of God and love should be laid at the last. But when words have a long while failed them, and the night is nigh at hand, they arise in the golden glimmer, and depart and in awe they stand. Then Brunhild stooped to the raft, and touched the hilt of the sword, ere she wound her arms round Sigurd and cherished the lips of my lord. Then sweet were the tears of Brunhild, and fast they fell, and the love that Sigurd uttered, what speech of song may tell? But he turned and departed from her, and her feet on the threshold abode, as he went through the pillared feast hall, and forth to the night he rode. So he turned toward the dwelling of Hymir, and his love and his fame, see one, and all full well accomplished, what deeds soever were done, and the love that endureth forever, and the endless hope he bore. As he faced the change of heaven and the chance of worldly war, of Sigurd's riding to the Midlands. What aileth the men of Landale, that their house is all astir? Shall the hunt be up in the forest, or hath the shield hung fur, brought word from the outer ocean to their fish-beloved stream? Or hath the piping shepherds beheld the war-gear gleam, adown the flowery sheep-dales? Or betwixt the poplars grey, have the negroids seen the banners of the brothers of the prey? No, the force shall be empty of the Landale men this morn, and the wells of the Landale river have heard no battle horn, nor the sheep in the flowery hollows seen any painted shield, and not from the fear of warriors by the negroids on the field. Yet full is the hall of Hymir with eagles of war, and the long-locked happy shepherds are gathered round the door, and the smith has left his stithy, and the wife has left her rack, and the bright drums hang unwinded by the maidens weaving stock, and there is the wife and the maiden, the elder and the boy. And scarce shall you tell what moved them, much sorrow or great joy. But lo, as they gather and hearken by the door of Hymir's side, the weight of a mighty music on the souls of men doth fall, and they bow their heads and hush them, because for their guest's sake is Hymir's hand in the harp strings, and the ancient song is away, and the words of the god's own fellow, and the hope of days gone by. Then deep is that song speech laden with the deeds that draw a nigh, and many a hope accomplished, and many an unhelped change, and things of all once spoken, now grown exceeding strange. Then keen as the battle pierced its strange speech arose, and the hearts of men went away, as of them that meet the foes. Then soared the song triumphant as o'er the world well won, till sweet and soft it ended as a rose falls neath the sun. But thereafter was there silence till the earls cast up the shout, and the whole house clashed and glittered as the tramp of men bore out, and folk fell back before them. Then forth the earl fell forth, and forth comes Hymir the ancient, and stands by his father's door, and then is the feast hall empty and none therein abides, for forth on the cloudy grateful the sun at Sigmund rides, and the helm of Agi beareth, and the mail coat all of gold, that hath not its like in the heavens, nor has earth of its fellow told, and the rest to the side is heard, though the peace strings windeth round, it oft and again it singeth, and strange is its sheathed sound, but beneath the king, in his war gear and beneath the wondrous sword, are the red rings of the treasure, and the gems of Andvari's hoard, and light goes grateful beneath it, and all and over again, he names out hope of battle, for the heart of the beast is pain. So there sate Sigurd the balsam, and his died to ride his ways, for the world lies there before him in the field of the peoples. Praise! And he kissed the ancient Hymir, and hated the folk of the land, and he cried kind and joyous as the reins lie loose in his hand, Farewell, O folk of Landale, and your joy of sunny tide. for the acres whiten, missing it, and the harvest field is wide. Who knows of the toil that shall be, when the reaping hook gleams gray, and the knees of the strong are loosened in the afternoon of day? Who knows of the joy that shall be, when the reaper cometh again, and his sheaves are crowned with the blossoms, and the song goes up from the wain? But now let the gods look to it, to endure or to speed. But the love and the longing I know, and I know the hand and the deed. And he gathered the reins together, and set his face to the road, and the glad steed neighed beneath him as they fared from the king's abode, and out past the dewy closes. But the shouts went up to the sky, though some for very sorrow forbore the farewell cry, nor was any man but heavy that the godlike guest should go. And they craved for that glad heart guileless, and that face without a foe. But grateful fared onward, and back to the dusky hall, now both the ancient Hymir, and back to bower and stall, and back to hammer and shuttle goal and carle and queen. And piping in the noontide adown the hollows green, go the yellow-headed shepherds amidst the scattered sheep. And all hearts a dear remembrance and a hope of Sigurd keep. But forth by dale and Lelyn doth the son of Sigmund wend, till far away lies Lundale and the folk of the forest's end. And he rides a heath unpeopled and holds the westward way, till a long way off before him come up the mountains grey. Grey, huge beyond all telling, and the host of the heap clouds, the black and the white together, on that rock wall's coping crowds. But walls are rent athwart them, and the hot sun pierceth through, and there glow the angry cloud caves gainst the everlasting blue, and the changeless snow amidst it. But down from that cloudy head, the scars of fires that have been show grim and dusky red. And lower yet are the hollows striped down by the scanty green, and lingering flecks of the cloud host are tangled there between, white, pillowy, lit by the sun, unchanged by the drift of the wind. Long Sigurd looked and marvelled, and upraised his heart and his mind. For he deemed that beyond that rock wall boded his changed love and life, on the further side of the battle, and the hope, and the shifting strife. So up and down he rid, till at even of the day, Egil's brow he o'ertop it that had hit the mountains grey. Huge, blacker they showed than aforetime, white hung the cloud flecks, there, but red was the cloudy crown, for the sun was sinking fair. A wide plain lay beneath him, and a river through it wound, betwixt the lea and the acres, and the misty orchard ground. But forth from the feet of the mountains a ridge till there ran, that upreared at its hithermost ending a builded birth of man. And Sigurd deemed in his heart as he looked on the burg from afar, that the high gods scarce might win it, if thereon they fell with war. So many and great were the walls, so bore the towers on high, the catapult of battle, and the tale of victory. Then swift he hath nipped downward, lest they be wholly spent, ere he come to the gate well warded, and the walls beleaguerment. For his heart is eager to hearken what men folk therein dwell, and the name of that noble dwelling, and the tale that it hath to tell. So he rides by the tilth of the acres, twixt the overhanging trees, and but seldom now and again a glimpse of the burg he sees, till he comes to the flood of the river, and looks up from the box of the bridge. Then how was the plain grown little neath that mighty burg of the bridge, overhung by the cloudy mountains and the ash of another day, whereto the slopes clomb upward till the green died out in the grey, and the grey in the awful cloud land, where the red reds went and came, round the snows no summers minish in the far-off sunset flame, but lo, the burg at the ridge end? Have the gods been building again, since they watched the aimless giants pile up the wall of the plain, the house for none to dwell in? Or in what days lived the Lord, who neath those thunder forges upreared that battle's ward? Or was not the smith at his work, and the blast of his forges awake, and the world's heart poured from the mountain for that ancient people's sake? Or as waves on the iron of the days whereof nothing is told, stood at the many towers, so stark and sharp and cold. The dark red and worn and ancient as the midmost mountainside, is the wall that goeth about them. And its mighty compass hides, full many a dwelling of man whence the rig now goeth aloft, and the voice of the house abiders, the sharp sounds blend with the soft. But one house in the midst is unhidden, and high up o'er the wall it goes. Aloft in the wind of the mountains its golden roof ridge glows, and down at its buttressed feet is the wind's voice never still. And the day and the night pass o'er it, and it changes to their will, and whiles is it glassy and dark, and whiles is it white and dead, and whiles is it grey of the sea beneath, and whiles is it angry red. and it shimmers under the sunshine, and grows black stripped by the storm, and dusk its gold roof glimmers when the rain clouds over its form, and bright in the first of the morning its flame doth it uplift, when the light clouds rend before it and along its furrows drift. Upper set the heart of Sigurd, but ever you it is borne, till he comes to the court and the gateway built up in the face of the north. Then e'en as a wind from the mountains he heard the waters' speech, as aloft in the mighty towers they clamor each to each, then horn to horn blew token, and far and shrill they cried, and he heard, as the fishers hearkened the cliff fell over the tide, but he rode in under the gate, that was long and dark as a cave, bored out in the isles of the Northland by the beat of the restless wave, and the noise of the winds was within it, and the sound of swords, unseen, as the night when the host is stirring and the hearts of kings are keen. But no man stayed or hindered, and the dusk place knew his smile, and into the court of the warriors he came forth after a while, and looked aloft to the hall roof, high up and grazed the cloud, for the sun was wholly perished. And there he cried aloud, "Oh, man of this mighty bird, to look so to the world in my zone. And who is the king of battles who dwells in his lordly home? Or perchance are ye the elf king? Are ye guests fain, kind of the boards, or murder churls and destroyers to gain and die by the sword?" Then the spears in the forecourt glittered and the swords shone over the wall, but the song of smitten heartstrings came faint from the cloudy hall. And he hearkened a voice and a crying, the house of Juki the king, and the burg of the Nibelung people and the heart of their warfaring. There were many men about him, and the wind in the walnut sang, and the spears of the Nibelungs glittered, and the swords in the forecourt rang. But they looked on his face in the evening, and they hushed their voices, and gazed, for fear and great desire the hearts of men amazed. Now cometh an earl to King Juki as he sits in guard likewise, with his sons, the kings of battle, and his wife of the glittering eyes, and the king cries out at his coming to tell why the watch horns blew. But the earl said, "Lord of the people, choose now what thou wilt do. For here is a strange newcomer," and he said, "To thee alone will he tell of his name and his kindred, and the deeds that his hand hath done." But he bare the helm of iron and the hauberk all of gold, that hath not its like in the heavens nor hath heard of its fellow told. And strange is all his raiment, and he bare the war broadsword, and his horse steed beareth beneath him red wings of the mighty horde, and the ancient gems of the sea floor. There he sits on his cloud-gray steed, and his eyes are bright in the even, and redeemed and mighty indeed, and our hearts are upraised at his coming. But how shall I tell thee, or say, if he be a king of the kings and a lord of the earthly day, or if rather the gods be abroad and he be one of these? But forsooth no battle he biddeth, nor crowdeth he our peace. So choose herein, King Juki, wilt thou bid the man be gone, to his house of the earth or the heavens, lest the war so be won, or wilt thou bid him abide in the Nibelung east and mount? And meseems if thus thou doest, thou shalt never repent thee thereof. Then approached the king of the Nibelungs, and was clad in purple and pall, and his sheathed sword lay in his hand, as he gaddened down the hall, and abroad through the Nibelung doorway. And a mighty man he was, and wise and ancient of days, so there by the earl's doth he pass, and beholdeth the king on the war steed and looketh up in his face, but Sigurd cried upon him in the Nibelung's fenced place, as the king saith, "Gold bestrider, who into Argarth wouldst ride, wilt thou tell thy name to a king, who biddeth thee here abide, and hath all good at her hands? For unto the Nibelung's home, and the heart of a war-fain people from the weary road are ye come. And I am Juki the king, so now if thou namest thee a god, look not to see me tremble. For I know of such that have trod, unfared in the burg of the Nibelungs. Nor worser, nor better at all, may fare the folk of the gods than the kings in Juki's home. So I bid thee abide in my house, and when many days are o'er, thou shalt tell us at last of thine errand, if thou bearest peace or war. Then all rejoiced at his word till the swords on the bucklers rang, and adown from the red gold treasure the son of Sigmund sprang, and he took the hand of Juki, and kissed himself and squeaked, and said, "Hail, ancient of days! For thou biddest me things most meet, and thou knowest the good from the evil. Few days are over and gone, since my father was old in the world ere the deed of my making was won. But Sigmund of all sung he was, full wrath of years and of fame. And I, who have never beheld him, am Sigurd called of me. Too young in the world am I waxen that a tale thereof should be told, and yet have I slain the serpent, and gotten the ancient gold, and broken the bond of the weary, and ridden the wavering fire. But short is mine errand to tell, and the end of my desire, for peace I bear unto thee, and to all the kings of the earth, who bear the sword right, and are crowned with the crown of worth. But unpeace to the lords of evil, and the battle and the death, and the edge of the sword to the traitor, and the flame to the slanderer's breath, and I would that the loving were loved, and I would that the weary should sleep, and that man should hearken to man, and that he that soweth should reap. Now wide in the world would I fare, to seek the dwellings of kings, for with them would I do and undo, and be hard of their warfarings. So I thank thee, Lord, for thy bidding, and here in thine house will I bide, and learn of thine ancient wisdom till forth to the field we ride. Glad then was the murmur of folk, for the tidings had gone forth, and its breath had been borne to the Nibelungs, and the tale of Sigurd's worth. But the king said, Welcome, Sigurd, full-haired deed in the word. And here mayst thou and we fellows for the days of the peace and the sword. For not long in the world have I lived, but sons from my lord have sprung. These deeds with the well on evil, and their names with the people's tongue. Then he took his hand in his hand, and into the hall they passed, and great shouts of salutation to the cloudy roof were cast. And they rang from the glassy pillars, and the gods on the hangings stirred, and afar the clustering eagles on the golden roof which heard, and cried out on the sword and the branstock as they cried in the other days. Then the harp sprang out in the hall, and men sang in Sigurd's praise. And a fun of good remembrance, and the tales of the years gone by, swept over the soul of Sigurd, and his father seemed an eye. And he looked to the cloudy hall roof, and an eye seemed Odin the god, and the Valkyrs holding the garland, and a crown of linen up, trump. And his soul swelled up exalted, and he deemed that high above, in the glorious house of the heavens, are the outstretched hands of his love. And she stoops to the cloudy feast hall, and the wavering wind lifts her voice, and her odorous breath floats round him, as she bids her king rejoice. But now on the dais he knew with the king of Juki the wise, lo, here is the crowned Brunhild, the queen of the glittering eye. Lo, here is the good meat dinner with the face of a king's desire. Lo, here is Hogni that holdeth the wisdom tried in the fire. Lo, here is Guthorm the youngest, who longs for the meeting swords. Lo, here, as arose in the oath vows, amid the Nibelung lords, is the fate of the Nibelung standing, the water of Juki's trout. And all whose look long left Sigurd and the harsher gladden smile. So Brunhild greeted the guest, and she deemed him very sweet, and she deemed him mighty of men, and a king for the queen folk meet. Then the golden lord gave forth his greeting and speed, and deemed him noble and great, and fellows the kings in their need, and often gave him his beauty, and none his eyes might dim, and he smiled as the winter sun on the shipless ocean's rim. Then greeted him Guthorm the young, and cried out that his heart was glad, that the Volsung lived in their house, that a king of the kings they had. Then Sonata while the maiden, the fair Armhetring, stood, yet might all men see by her visage that she deemed his coming good.
Dang it.
But at last the gold she
Oh,
taken,
tase it.
and before
Tase
the
it.
dogs
Tase
she
it.
stand, and she poured the wine of kingfolk, and stretched forth her hand, and she said, Hail, Sigurd the Volsung. May I see thy joy increase, and thy shield of benefits on thee, and thy days grown old in peace. And he took the cup from her hand, and drank, while his heart rejoiced, at the Nibelung maiden's beauty, and her blessed lovely voice. And he thanked her well for the greeting, and no gall in his heart was grown, but he thought of his love and folded in the arms of his renown. So the Nibelungs face glad-hearted through the undark night and kind, and the burden of all sorrow seems fallen far behind. On the road their lives have wended ere that happiest night of nights, and the careless days and quiet seem but thieves of their delights. For their hearts go forth before them toward the better days to come, when all the world of glory shall be called the Nibelung's home. Yea, as often the merry season in the morning of the May, the birds break out a singing for the world's face waxen gay, and they flutter there in the blossoms, and run through the dewy grass, as they sing the joy of the springtide, that bringeth the summer to pass. And they deem that for them alone was the earth wrought long ago. And no hate and no repentance, and no fear to come they know. So Through the feast of the Nibelungs on the eve that Sigurd came, in the day of their deeds triumphant, and the blossom of their fame. Of Sigurd's warfaring in the company of the Nibelungs, and of his great fame and glory. Now gone is the summer season and the harvest of the year, and amid the winter were the days of the Nibelung wear. But not is their joyance worsened, or their mirth quite waxen less, though the sloping mountain tempest hell round their readiness, though a house of the windy battle their straighted birth be grown, though the heaped up, huddled cloud drift be their very hull roof, crowned, though the rivers bear the burden, and the Rhine gods grip and strive, and the snow in the murky lignin across the low and dry. But lo, in the stark mid-winter cloud it was smitten away, and the blue-clad Nibelung warriors took spears from the wall no take, and gird the dusky hauberk, and the ruddy blood coat on, and draw the yellowing burden to steal from Welsh land one. Then they show their tokened war shields to the moon dog and the stars, for the hurrying wind of the mountains has borne them tailored wars. Lo now, in the court of the warriors they gather for the fray, before the sun doth come in the moonless morn of day. And the spears by the dusk gate glimmer, and the torches shine on the wall, and the murmuring voice of women comes fain from the cloudy hall. Then the grey dawn beats on the mountains mid a drift of frosty snow, and all men face of Sigurd mid the sword-haired Nibelung's snow. And they see his gold gear glittering mid the red fur in the one, and high are the hearts uplifted on the hook of happy fight. And they see the shades craft shimmer mid the restless Welsh fire, swords, and their hearts rejoice beforehand o'er the fall of conquered lords. And they see the helm of pine and the awful eyes beneath, and they deem the victory glorious, and fear the warrior's death. So forth through that gate of the gate from the Nibelung they fare, and they turn their backs on the plain, and the mountain slopes they, there, and the place of the slipped earth forges, as the eastern moon shone, and but see swords.
That's a phone call from my brother.
But lo, in the jaws of the mountains how few and
It's
small
really
they
persistent
seem,
there.
as dusky strange in the snow drifts their knitted halberds gleam. Lo, now at the mountain's outmost neath Sigurd's gleaming eyes, how wide in the winter season the citted Lelin lies.
Where's my buddy?
Lo, how the
That's
beaches are
ultra.
flaring, and the bells swayed steeples rock, and the gates of cities are shaken with the back-swung door leaves, shock, and, lo, the terror of towns, and the land that the winter warns, and over the streets snow muffled the clash of the Nibelung swords. But the slaves of the kings are gathered, and their host of battle abides, and forth in the front of the Nibelungs the golden Sigurd rides. And Gunnar smites on his right hand, and Hogni smites on the left, and glad is the heart of Guttorm, and the Southland coast is cleft, as the great bill weepeth
Hey.
billows in the autumn of the year, when the fish
You trying to call me?
and the rain flood draweth anear.
What's up?
Now shades is the wrath of Sigurd, for his wax withstands the flame, so the kings of the land stood him, and the glory of his fame. And before the
Okay.
grass is growing, or the kine hath fair
Okay, hold on just a second. I'm gonna get out and
they
bring it
sing
up
the golden Sigurd
and show you how to
the
do
without
it.
a foe, and the lowly man exalted and the mighty brought low. And they say, when the son of summer shall come back to the land, it shall
Well,
shine on the fields of
I'm
the
trying to
sun
figure
that
out. You're
appears
you're
in the
on
fields.
Discord, right? So
As the sheep shall be for the
we
flock,
should
and
should
the
probably
love for
start a
man.
Discord
So
call.
through every road acre where the sun of Sigmund rode. Full dear was Sigurd the
Um,
sung to all
you're
the
gonna
most
need to
and
add me.
and now, as the spring drew
So
on,
my
was deemed
name
a goodly thing.
is
For the acre biter's children by the Nibelung
the
birth
real Mystic
purchased
Mask.
the son of Sigmund should ride
So if you,
upon the day.
I don't know what your Discord name is, or
Forsooth, would shrink from the shining eyes and the hand that claimed
okay,
by truth.
okay, Seal
From the
Pup
heart
what?
that were in the battle. It was then, as is gold, in burns,
Oh, Seal Pup TV.
the
Okay, good.
that off the mother turned, and spake to the laughing baby, O little son, and dear, when I from the world am departed, and while the nights be here, the best of man folk
Okay,
longing
alright,
for the least of Sigurd's days, and thou shalt hearken to
I'm
their
in a-
story, till they tell forth all his praise, and become beloved and a wonder, as thou
Two-
sayest with
5
all
versus
his
5
son,
death
and
match.
unto
I just had to
beheld
get
him
out
in
of
the
it.
days when I was
Hold on.
young. Men say that the water Gudrun.
No,
let me
I'm
keep
done.
child,
No,
looked
that's why I
long
called
on
you right
Sigurd's
back.
visage in the winter weather wild, on the eve of the king's departure.
All right. I've got all the the music going and the I found a like a verse translation of the Volsung saga. Hey Mike, What's going on? I'm on the phone with my brother. We're going to go do Moon Valley on Moon Valley Artificial Intelligence. Have you been on there, Mike? It's really cool. It's the future of filmmaking. And it's in open beta right now. Just go to Moon Valley and join it on Discord. But I'm about to come off stream right now because I want, my brother's in video production. I really want to make sure that he sees this and sees how to do it. All right, so thanks guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. J'étais invité, but I didn't see you. I saw your name. All right, take care.